So, it would appear we have a problem, gentlemen.
Indeed we do, Mr. Williams.
A most unfortunate occurrence, yes. Cigarette?
So what now?
It appears we have a traitor among us.
What makes you say that?
Well, it's a bit of a coincidence, don't you think? Mr. Smith, dead on the floor. The merger just round the corner. One less body, person, means one less share.
Well, I suppose I'll have to be the one to state the obvious. Fact number one. This room, completely shielded from the outside. No cameras, no peepholes, no secret entrances. Fact number two. Mr. Smith, a young man with no history of heart attacks or medical conditions of any kind, lies dead on the floor. Conclusion: one of us poisoned him.
So how do we know it's not you?
Explain.
Well, I couldn't help but notice that the second Mr. Smith collapsed, your expression took a rather alarming turn. Also, you were remarkably quick to suggest poisoning as a means of death. It's really the most basic human psychology to turn the attention away from yourself. Something to hide, Mr. Williams. Your thoughts, Mr. Johnson?
As far as I'm concerned, it could equally be either one of you. There are a few facts to be weighed up. Mr. Williams, you recently sold 20% of your stock in this company before the decision to merger was made. This means your share in the deal would be significantly smaller. Motive. Mr. Jones, I happen to know that you recently had a heated argument with Mr. Smith. Something over an irregularity in the books? A scandal like that could ruin a man's reputation in a company such as this. Motive.
And what about you, Mr. Johnson?
And what about me, Mr. Jones?
Well, you had a heated argument yourself recently, didn't you?
Really? Who with?
Mr. Smith's wife. That's right, I know all about it. I put it to this table. Why should the murder of Mr. Smith have had anything to do with business? There are other forms of rivalry. Quite a scandal that would have caused, no, Mr. Johnson?
So, we all have a motive. Back to square one, eh, gentlemen?
Gentlemen, what did you think of Mr. Smith?
If you must know, I liked him. Over the years, he gave me some very sage financial advice. And you, Mr. Johnson?
I personally didn't know him that well. It was merely a business relationship.
Well, I thought he was a scum-sucking lowlife.
So you thought he got what he deserved?
Gentlemen, I take absolutely no pleasure in Mr. Smith's death. However, if one of the four of us had to die, I would have preferred for it not to be one of the three of us.
How the hell can you be so cold?
Being cold, Mr. Williams, is what got us, all of us, where we are today.
What are you saying to him?
It's not your concern.
Gentlemen, if either of you had killed Mr. Smith, what would your motive have been?
I would have done it for the money. What about you?
I would have done it to remove the competition.
I think I would have done it because I don't agree with his principles. In his time here, Mr. Smith hurt a lot of people. Some men just can't see past their lust for the bottom line.
It appears I must once again state the obvious. If either of you killed Mr. Smith, what's to stop you doing the same to me? How do I know that one of you isn't right now planning to overpower me?
Just so, Mr. Williams. Only once again you draw the attention away from yourself. We are in a checkmate position now, Mr.
What do you
Williams.
mean?
You betrayed yourself by constantly referring to money. For us, that is the ultimate motive. There is no greater desire in life. Not love, not happiness, not God. You are dead, Mr. Williams. I killed you 10 minutes ago and I poisoned your cigarette right after you poisoned Mr. Smith.
You fool! It was Johnson all along. His body language made it obvious. He had an affair with Smith's wife. A scandal like that could bring a man to his knees.
I assume then that you slipped something into my drink, the same way you believe I slipped something into Mr. Smith's. Well then, Mr. Williams, you're an even bigger idiot than me. Mr. Jones has been playing us all along. Everything that's been said over the last few minutes has been met with a quick answer. But I've been watching him for the last 6 months. He had a personal grudge of his own. Didn't you, Mr. Jones? You deeply resented Mr. Smith, his charisma, his success.
Be that as it may, Mr. Johnson, I am the one to be envied now, for I am about to become sole head of this company. I alone remain unpoisoned. Ever since Mr. Smith collapsed, I've kept a close eye on my drink and my cigarettes. Neither have been touched by anyone but myself. And that is why, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to sit here patiently and wait for you and Mr. Williams to die.
You will not, Mr. Jones. When I walked over to whisper to you, I rubbed a small amount of solution into your neck. I've checked your file, Mr. Jones. I happen to know you have a lethal allergic reaction to...
No.
I'm afraid so, Mr. Jones. Ever since the merger was announced, I kept a small amount on me at all times. I knew you would betray us eventually, Mr. Jones.